again. You're with me for a Friday edition of Coffee Talk, number 570. It's Friday the 13th, 2026. And I've got quite a few topics to talk about this evening. And we'll get started as soon as a few people enter the live stream. Joseph Moore, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. How are things in your world, Joseph? Uncle Al, Die Bullfrog 79, and Hillbilly Josh. Gary, how's it going? How are things in the UK, Gary? If I recall correctly, Yoda. Hello, Dave. I watched a replay of about a 20-minute live stream that Dave had done, and he was talking about how things were going with him. He talked a little bit about his channel, he talked about his teeth, what his plans are, talked about the pain he was in. God bless you. I know that's rough. Looking at the stream, see who's here. Nine in the house, 8 likes. Anne Marie Wilson, how you doing? And if I mispronounce anybody's name, I truly apologize. It's not done intentionally. Thank you for the love. I need it. And I give love back. Well, there's a tradition with Fridays to talk about Fired Up. Fired Up Friday. Little lighter Zippo. Cheapo lighters. I mean, they make good lighters, but that's the cheapo. Hello, Anne Marie. Don't want to mispronounce anybody's name, and I want to try to use your preferred handle how you are addressed. Certainly no disrespect by anybody here. Everything's learning. So, it's been a week, the end of the 9 weeks period. Some schools are on a 6 week cycle, and you have 2 semesters, a fall semester, a spring semester. Everybody's in the spring semester right now, but some schools have the quarter system. They have 4 9 weeks quarters, which is where I'm at right now. Then there are other schools that they do grading cycles 6 weeks. So a fall semester would be 2 9 weeks periods for me. And then spring semesters 2 9 weeks periods. We just ended the third 9 weeks period. We have what's called spring break. We'll be off for a week. All this next week I'll be off, so that means I have 9 days off starting tomorrow, and then we'll go back for the last uh, 9 weeks. And school will get out around the 21st of May for the students, and then I will work an extra day or two, and then the possibility of working summer school and credit recovery. I may wind up doing that this summer. But summer break for me will be about 2 months. I'll be off for about 2 months before I go back. Then around the 1st of August, you go back to work. And if I do summer school, it'll shorten that period of time. And I will probably go in for what's called summer testing. They'll do summer STAR testing. They'll have a couple of days where we'll do STAR testing for kids who did not pass the STAR. They want another shot at taking it during the summer. So we'll have testing for that. Hey, the Black Widow's Web. Been a while, young lady. I will tell you, your channel. I go to your live sometimes, and good stuff going on there. Good stuff going on there. I would say that there was a sort of a format change at some point from what uh, the content that she was putting out. She puts out really good content, and she makes good shorts and videos and such, and does a lot of, when she's into it. But she's been doing these auctions, where people go in, they or sales. They'll put something up, and then people will, different people will show stuff that they have that they want to get rid of or they want to sell, and then people will bid on it and buy it. If I've got that correct. Pre-retirement days. Whenever I think of Betty, I always think of comfort food, which she shortened her, unless this is like a name of a backup channel. A lot of people have a second channel. Pre-retirement days, comfort food. What I'm used to, Betty. Another good channel. Feel free to connect with folks that you're not familiar with. That way you both pick up. We are about 10 minutes into the stream. And let me thank Mr. Alan Sato, Bullfrog 79, who is a friend and mentor and fellow He's into preparedness, trying to be ready for emergencies, trying to teach others. Part of his ministry, he teaches those less knowledgeable, which most people are less knowledgeable um, about how to survive in a grid down situation or a disaster, which everybody goes through occasionally. Hopefully, not too often, but things happen. Uh, Enrique Trevino, Un Kael. And I would like to apologize if you hire someone to go to an auction on your behalf. Are they doing your bidding? Haha, I would think so. I would think so. Sometimes people have those who represent them, or you ask somebody to represent you for something. Could be a relative, could be a friend, could be a spouse, you know, an employee, somebody you trust. So I have not been putting out much content. I have not been putting out that many shorts. Um, I put out a few videos here and there. I will try to, over spring break, put out a couple of new videos. I have a menu number 5, MRE menu number 5. I'd like to put out chicken chunks. Gary's just chopping at the bit to see that one. And I plan on doing a mail call from Uncle Al. He sent me a real nice box that I haven't even opened up yet, and I apologize. I read the card, sent me a nice card with it. It's one of his custom MREs. He puts a lot of care into those. He puts a lot of care into his ministry. He works with his people in his church. He's on the church board. He teaches Sunday school, Bible study, um, food bank. He's involved with the food bank. I used to be involved with all that kind of stuff. I used to be involved with Angel Food Ministries. I was on my church board. Um, I was Gideon's International. I basically um, ran the local operation for Gideon's International. I was also what we call an area director, Area 17 director, and I would go to the state cabinet meetings periodically. I used to be involved, got burned out, got burned out on that. And 8 watching and 14 likes. Thank you for the update. I have decided to do the gardening channel. Oh, I've seen images and I've seen some footage of your garden when you've had a garden in the past. Excellent, do an excellent job of gardening. I will say that for you. Um, I haven't done a garden. It's been years since I've done a garden. Just I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. You've got to water it consistently. Rain is something other that you can't count on. Certainly not to try to keep a garden going. And you've got to put a lot of effort into it. Got to do a lot of cleanup. One person I haven't seen recently, and I don't know if anybody, Idaho Garden Girl, anybody had any contact with her, Stephanie, Idaho Garden Girl. It's been a while. She hadn't been putting out content and hadn't been coming in, and I guess I could call her. I have her number. I really need to check up on her. I've lost contact with a lot of friends, people that I would text with, and we'd have calls back and forth sometimes or email. I just haven't had time. I don't, no disrespect. I just haven't had time. My health is not what it was. My energy level is not what it was. Um, my priorities are slightly different now as far as what I do. Um, it just, you know, aging process. I'm older, a little bit older. My health isn't quite what it used to be. And I just, you know, Melinda Elliott, how are you doing, young lady? I get notified. There's a number of people that I follow. I'm subscribed to a number of people. I think most everybody in here that have been coming into I'm subscribed to them. And if they're content creators, I try to at some point view some of their content. And I tend to binge watch stuff like tonight. I had not been really hitting up on Uncle Al's shorts, and I basically binge watched 9 shorts Uncle Al had put out recently. The last 9 shorts he had put out, I binged watched. I left likes and small comment on his last 9. And a lot of times my comment will be what like number I am. I'll say like numbers, whatever, and I'll do a thumbs up. That way they know that was me. And I watched his last, he had done a Friday the 13th video, and I watched that one. It's about 15 minutes or so. And I thanked him for mentioning me, and he was talking about what he does, and he was talking about the notes and 40 pages of notes and all this stuff. And I've got about 6 pages of notes to go through. I probably won't get to all of them. And then he just dropped a bunch more on me, which I haven't put in my book. But I did 6 pages of notes for tonight's stream, and I haven't even started them. And we are like 17, 18 minutes into the stream. I will make sure that I get to all these notes this weekend. Some of them I make repeat. If I've already mentioned them, I'll repeat them. But, it is what it is. Yes, I'm also a grandfather. My firstborn, my child from my first marriage, she is a mother now. Beautiful young lady, beautiful son, beautiful family. She is about right at 5 hours south of me if I was driving. Especially the way I drive, everybody passes me. I don't speed, I don't drive that fast. And it'd be a pretty good, and I do plan on getting down there. Um, oh, I haven't flown a kite in so long, it's not funny. I used to fly a kite with the kids when they were little. I used to fly a kite myself when I was little, younger. Used to love kites. Had several of them. The things I used to do, I don't do. I went to the library today. Why, thank you. I went to the library today and to meet somebody. I was going to meet somebody at the library. And there was a lady there doing a puzzle. And I got to talking to her. I was sitting at the table, and she was sitting in the table. She was working on a puzzle, jigsaw puzzle. And got to talking to her, talking about puzzles. And I was telling her about my aunt, may she rest in peace, used to love to do puzzles. She'd like to do 1,000-piece puzzles. And if it was really a nice puzzle, she would wind up mounting it, and then framing it in glass and hanging it, And I've got a couple of those that she had made. They're 30, probably 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And I've got a couple of them that she had made, that I got from her. And she would go to Hobby Lobby, and there was a Hobby Lobby. She'd go to the Hobby Lobby over at 5 Points, and she'd go buy her stuff there, and you could go and you could have nice custom framing done. She would do that, and I'm blessed to have a couple of her. May she rest in peace. I'm blessed to have a couple of her puzzles that she had made. And they make good art. They make good art, good country art. You think about the amount of time she spent a week making that puzzle, and then taking it and having it mounted, and picking out a frame for it, and putting it under glass, and you know Hobby Lobby's well, you can spend a lot of money in there. Yeah, I'm behind on that. I'm behind on so much stuff, it's not funny. Like Anne Marie Angel. um I missed I missed a few live streams this week, where I didn't. And then I went back and I've left comments after the fact, and a like. You know, went in, watched a couple of minutes of it, and left a comment and a like. Was apologizing. I'm sorry I didn't, missed it. I've been working, and a lot of times, like during the day, I'm in school and I'm working, and but I'll get a notification. I get notifications. Like I got a notification of Melinda Elliott doing one of, I guess it was a driving live stream, which I missed, but I did see the notification. And I really enjoy those puzzles. And it reminds me of my aunt. May she rest in peace. And then Gary will be there, and he's doing his commentary and talking about stuff and cussing like a sailor. He's been teaching me some bad language. You need to Google, blah, 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 what this means, and then somebody, Rocket or somebody, Nicole or somebody would leave a comment, or Ruth Ann, one or the other. There's like a little group of them. They'll be egging each other on and egging him on, and responding. That I say something stupid, and if everybody's laughing, they see the comment and then they start laughing and all. And it's like, you really, it's cheap, it's inexpensive fun. Old time inexpensive fun. Baking Irish cookies and soda bread. I have to watch my sugar, Uncle Al. I have to watch. I can't. Like I used to love to eat donuts. I very rarely eat donuts now. I love to eat cake, and I very rarely. I'm never really a candy person as far as candy bars and that kind of stuff. But I love donuts with coffee and cake and a little ice cream with the cake, and um, things I really can't have. I'm not supposed to have. So I try to avoid. I try to have, you know, use my will and not do stuff like that. And that's really nice. I buy I order a lot of stuff on Amazon, and I have Pop-Tarts for my kids at school. I get the cups of soup, bottled water. They come to school hungry. I've got a microwave, got a kettle to heat water. Um, every once in a while, one of them's asleep, and I'm gonna give them a cup of coffee. Make coffee, and I take care of my kids, and they appreciate it. They appreciate it. But I will try to get caught up on some stuff. I mean, I've got to get caught up on Mike Crusher's um, reviews. He's put out a couple, and way behind. Well, the other day, I guess it was last weekend, I binge watched 3 of Uncle Al's videos, 10, 12-minute videos. Watched 3 of them in a row and, left comments, and then I timestamp them. I want them to know, hey, I watched the entire thing. Like the one today was like just over 15 minutes. I timestamped it at 15 minutes. And I appreciate he was talking about stuff in the news, and he was sending me yesterday. He was sending me notes, and then I commented, "Oh, I saw about this terrorist attack," and we talked about the terrorist attack, and he calls them Manchurian candidates, these immigrants that had come in, Muslim, that were radicalized, and they do that Aloha Akbar or whatever they say, and they have that thing about, I think it translates God is great, when something that they say before they attack. And one of them was a terrorist that was in Michigan, and he attacked a synagogue with a vehicle. He had a bunch of explosives that did not go off, and I guess he was shot by security or somebody. He didn't kill anybody. Crashed into a synagogue, which was a synagogue in a school, elementary type, primary type, daycare type school. Luckily, nobody was hurt. And then there was another incident yesterday in Virginia, and it was somebody who had been in prison. They committed crimes. They were a felon. They weren't deported. Uh, they should have been deported, but they weren't deported. And they attacked. This person went in and killed a ROTC instructor, a lieutenant colonel, who was an ROTC instructor, and then one of the cadets took the guy out with a knife, stabbed him in the neck, and took him out with a knife. The terrorist. It's like there's been like 4 terrorist attacks in the last 2 weeks. Muslim, infiltration type stuff, immigrant types. 4 different attacks. So one in Austin, Texas, on 6th Street. A bunch of people got shot. Several people were killed. Just, crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy. And I have not talked about the notes yet. I apologize, Uncle Al, that I hadn't gotten to the notes. Well, I'm glad you're lurking, Dave. And Dave is trying to get his 4,000 watch hours so he can get monetized. He's at about 54,000 subscribers, going on 55,000 subscribers. And I can't keep track of it. His channel's growing. I've had maybe a dozen new subscribers in the last month. I'm still at the same number that I was at. I still need 23 for my next giveaway. And if you'd like to qualify for my next giveaway drawing, you need to leave me a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 long form videos I will have released when I hit that number. And you need to keep track of the next couple that I do, because over the next week I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 long form videos while I'm off on spring break. And there aren't going to be that many people that'll be in the hat when I do the drawing. There won't be that many people. You just look at one of my prior giveaways. I give out good stuff. I receive good stuff. Like Uncle Al and I are constantly retaliating against each other. It's like we're trying to one up each other on sending each other stuff. And other people have done the same thing with me. Joseph Moore, um, Scott SD Mountain Man. I've had different people send me stuff. Dave, in Georgia, we've sent stuff to each other more than once. really good people, good friends. Enrique Trevino sent me a blue wrench recently. You can use it to open up sodas and such, open up bottles. And he had sent me another thing he had sent me. He sent me where it had my name and my phone number and my email address, property of type thing. That he sent me that. I'm really blessed. I'm blessed with good friends, and he's actually won two of my giveaways. He won the 100 subscriber giveaway on my backup channel, and he won 21 or 22, 2100 maybe 2000 sub giveaway. He won one of my recent giveaways. I think the last one, the 2200, was, I think that was Scott SD Mountain Man won that one, but he'd won twice, and I felt bad for him, and I know he felt bad that he had been participating for so long and he'd never won. I mean, every hundred, and he hadn't won, and then all of a sudden he did. He did, and then he did again, and you know, um, I felt bad. I felt bad for him, but you be persistent, and sooner or later you will win. Especially when there's only a handful of people that qualify, because there's only a handful of people who had left a comment and like on the last five, and that's the thing that to qualify, it's got to be each of the last five long form videos. Nunez Racing, how are you doing? Thank you for coming in. 15, 16 likes, 7 in the house. And we are 32 minutes in. I haven't even started a topic yet, but let's get going with some topics. A new topic reported by CNN, MSN, NBC, ABC, Fox News. FBI and CIA warns Iran and Hezbollah preparing drone strikes on major targets of California and certain Democrats. Gavin Newsom and others. What do you think about that? Would it break your heart to find out that there had been some sort of strike against Gavin Newsom? He is an American and he is a governor of a major state. You know? Um, would it break my heart? Might. Might not. Um, Second topic. Crazed anti-American liberals. Are there any other kind? Are setting themselves on fire. Now this is sad. As reported by CNN, who later apologized for showing the person burning themselves to death. This was reported by CBS, Sky News, ABC, and NBC. Somebody mentally ill setting themselves on fire. Yeah, I hear you. Might not want to be around. He's in a socialist. He's behind enemy lines. However, I think the area that Uncle Al lives in is sort of rural and is fairly red. If you get away from the big cities, those big huge blue cesspool cities, a lot of California, a lot of the counties are very red. If you go to one of the smaller populated rural counties, a lot of them are red as far as the votes are concerned. It's all said. I feel like the time makes the 70s and 80s look better. Yeah, yes. Well, and that's the other thing. When you live in an area, um, Chicago is, I believe, the second largest as far as population is concerned cities in the United States, Chicago. And most of your blue population, they're right there in that area. That's where most of your blue vote is. If you go rural, it's largely red as far as the population's concerned. Um, and there are red cities. You know, Fort Worth, where my daughter, uh, my girl from my current marriage, she is in Fort Worth with her husband. Fort Worth is red, largely red, whereas Dallas is largely blue. And they're sort of connected. They're growing in together. And Dallas has a slightly larger population than Fort Worth, but Fort Worth has a million population, about a million, and I think Dallas has a population about 1,000,000 too. And but there are areas, large areas that are red. Uh, but the big, the 5 or 6 biggest cities in the United States are all blue, and they're also, they're in areas where those cities dominate their state as far as voting is concerned. Like they talk about, like Korea, North Korea. They have developed ICBMs that can hit our west coast. And you think about it. Well, could you imagine if some terrorist type nation took out Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle and you know some of the big blue socialist cities? Would it break your heart? Yeah, yeah. During World War II, Hitler was developing some prototype weapons. The Nazis were developing some prototype weapons that could hit the United States. If they'd have developed the bomb and took out, say, New York City, uh, the Man in the High Castle was a sort of a sci-fi alternate, you know, type universe. Um, in this alternate setting, the United States surrendered because the Nazis developed the bomb, and they took out Washington D.C. And I think they took out a few Western, like I think they took out London, they took out Washington D.C. and the West fell and surrendered and became occupied, and you know and then and in that scenario, Hitler lived another 15 or so years, and then Himmler took over after Hitler. He became Fuhrer, and then eventually, um, this American became Fuhrer of the United States, and then Europe had a Fuhrer there, and then it was like a coup type thing. So they divided up, and the United States became independent, but it was, under its own furor. And Japan won, and they controlled the Pacific area, you know. And then they had occupied the western United States, like the blue states, California, Oregon, state of Washington, been occupied by the Japanese in this Man in the High Castle. Yep. Now on Netflix. Third topic. Reported by mass media. Misinformed liberals have stopped paying their taxes to protest Trump and his administration. The IRS and DOJ sent out assets seizure warrants and tax evasion warrants. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. Fourth topic. Reported by the New York Post. Desperate Californians revealed they are refusing to drive and buy groceries as gas prices skyrocketing again overnight. Thanks, Democrats. Woke and green policies, not the Iran conflict. Majority of Democrats demand Schumer and Jeffrey step down over failure to fight over woke and green agendas. Well, Congress is not popular. The Democrats are a lot less popular than the Republicans. Not that the Republicans are that popular. But on most topics, the Republicans are more popular than the Democrats, especially like the border, national security, law enforcement, the economy. I mean, most of the fighting topics. We still have a partial government shutdown. Homeland Security, the TSA, Border Patrol. There are parts of our security forces that are not funded right now at a time when you have potential terrorists, homegrown and infiltrators, what you call like the Manchurian candidate types. That's not the time to not be funding your security apparatus. In New York, Mandani, the new communist mayor that was elected, he dropped something like 5,000 police officers. They need to replace people who have left, people who have retired, people who are no longer there. And they're 5,000 officers down. And he said, we're not going to fill those positions. We're going to save the money. We're going to spend it on socialist issues, socialism or whatever. They want to raise taxes. What are you getting for those taxes? I mean, look at public services. I mean, it stinks. All the snow that they weren't clearing, the poop, the trash that wasn't being picked up. It's just, it's just absolutely horrible. You can say a lot about the previous administration, but they had trash pickup. and the snowplows were working. You know, chickens are coming home to roost. You know, you wanted a socialist or a communist or whatever you want to call them, Muslim. You want that for mayor? Well, you got it. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Rocket, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Sorry, I was on one of my little rants. I tell you what, when it comes to solving puzzles on Wheel of Fortune, Rocket he's got it going. Really does. Yep, yep. Too much poop. They're not using the restrooms. Really nasty situation. And now for some happy topics. Return to you suck at prepping. You suck at prepping. During the last 2 weeks, Uncle Al's been teaching at the dojo. Dojo is a term that they would use for a school of martial arts. Dojo. On the get home bag, everybody needs a bag or a knapsack or something that you can carry necessary supplies that can get you home or get you to where you're going from one place to another, that would keep you supplied for a couple of days. The idea is a 3-day supply. It's not a bug out bag or an evacuation bag. There's a big difference. The bag has one function, and that's to get you home or out of the damage area. Not to go in the woods, not to play Rambo, not to help others or get involved, not to have a hike with a picnic. Your job is to get home as fast as possible. Understand that anything that slows you down, time is your enemy. Getting involved with sheeple, get yourself killed or delayed. Delay means you miss the chance to get home or rescued. You die. Truth, no excuses or fantasies. The $50 get home bag. What military trained personnel actually keep in their car, office, or school? 2026 guide. Cousin Dumas owes Uncle Al for this lesson $20. Reality check. You don't need a bug out bag. Almost everyone will eventually need to get home on foot. Car breaks down, get a flat, you gotta hoof it, gotta walk. These are not the same problem, and the gear is not the same solution. Today, Uncle Al's going through every single item in a $50 bag built for one specific mission: getting from wherever you are back to your front door. when the normal way home stops working. Price after each item running total throughout. Here's what actually goes in it. Item 1, change of clothes, including broken in hiking shoes or boots. You got to have something that you can wear that's comfortable, that will support you, that you can wear, that won't hurt when you walk. Uh, like a lady, you're not going to want to walk 10 miles in high heels. Man's not going to want to walk 10 miles in his church shoes, dress shoes. You want something that's good for walking and hiking. Um, this is the item that Cousin Dumas or YouTube preppers cuts out from family list, and the one that matters the most. Got to have a good pair of shoes. Hey, Jack Stack 64, thank you for coming. Liked your latest The Rev. Hello, Peter. Please leave a like to support the channel. If you're at work and something goes wrong, you are wearing dress shoes, dress pants, or a uniform that was not designed for a 5-mile walk on hot concrete. Blisters form within 45 minutes in the wrong footwear. Become debilitated within 2 hours. Keep one set of clothes sealed in your truck, separated from the get home bag, ready for a quick change. Worn in hiking shoes or boots, athletic shoes or sneakers, long pants or jeans, not camo. A long sleeve, moisture wicking shirt. Uncle Al wears polo or t shirts, long sleeves and moisture wicking. Looks cool and offers protection from bugs and sunburn. Got to remember the UVs. Like, you would not want me out for an extended period of time with my noggin. Better be wearing a hat, something oversized. Better have a umbrella, something to block out the sun, UVs. Um, and a light jacket. Note this depends on the season. The jacket covers both wind and rain. Cold is your enemy. The failure to include this has stopped more people. Number one reason for turning back or die on the side of the road from exposure than any missing piece of your gear ever has. Item 2, a folding knife with a 4-inch blade. A simple, inexpensive folding knife earns its place in a get home bag where an expensive fix when a fixed blade would not. Because this bag lives in your car, in a public parking lot, garage, and the folding mechanism makes it legal and concealable. In in nearly every American jurisdiction except for blue areas. Yeah, everything is illegal in blue areas, just about. Hello, Rachel, mom of 4 boys. Thank you for coming in. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. A simple 4-inch floating blade sharpened will handle every practical task. Cutting a seatbelt after an accident, processing food, and cutting cordage. The only requirement is a liner lock or frame lock mechanism. Here's one of mine. Lock blade. Nice knife. Nice blade. It's one of them. I've got a bunch of knives. Where are you? Well, I'll find it. I keep one in my bag, which I couldn't get to hand in a hurry, so I just left it alone. Well, I hear the dogs. They're out there having a good time. And they're also good security. Let you know when anybody's around. There are 2 locking designs. A liner lock and a frame lock that will not collapse under lateral pressure. Avoid assisted opening knives with springs. Springs break under repeated use. Solid lock mechanisms do not. Item number 3, 50 foot of type 3 paracord or 75 feet fishing net line. Normal 50 feet handle every practical scenario a get home situation creates. Cordage, paracord. Lashing a shelter if forced to stop overnight. Creating a perimeter tripwire. Fashioning improvised or improvised tourniquet. Or hoisting food off the ground at a rest stop. The 7 inner strands separate for fishing lines and repair of clothing. Type 3 paracord holds 550 pounds and weighs under 3 ounces. Nothing else in this build covers as many functions per dollar. Item 4. Emergency Mylar bivouac bag. A get home scenario that requires an overnight stop. Stop because of injury, stormy weather, or an inability to safely continue moving after dark. I'm going to mark where I'm at. Scott, the SD Mountain Man. How's it going? Thank you for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I'm an hour into my live stream. Got about 20 likes, 21 likes, 10 or 11 in the house. I've got, and I haven't even started on the notes that Uncle Al started leaving me today. I still have about 2 pages to go of what I didn't get to tonight. I had about 6 pages to go through, and I got through about 4 of them. I will plan on coming back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time for another edition of Coffee Talk. I will take in the notes that Uncle Al left me today, and I will get to what I did not get to tonight tomorrow. And I will try to put out some more content, and I will try to give watch time to my friends, and I will try to pay back for all the good support that I receive. And I do truly appreciate your support. What can I say? And it truly shows when people come into you and you're behind and watching their content, but they're still watching your content. And I truly appreciate that. Everybody, please have a blessed day, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for another coffee talk. Remember, be prepared. That's the Prepper Scout motto. Thank you, and God bless, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.